Everyone, I'm Christina, and today I'm going to help you prepare for disaster. As always, feel free to comment, share, like, and subscribe. I have a few tips for you. And the first thing is you gotta start ahead of time, all right? What I have here is just a small shelf, but I'm able to purify my water every day, all right? It doesn't matter if it's good or not. You know, I'm getting in the habit of letting the sun purify water for my plants every single day, all right? Sometimes your seeds are gonna work, sometimes they're not. You should have a backup water filtration system just in case. Something you can catch that water in, filter it, and then purify it. Don't throw away your 2-liter bottles.
Global inequality is severely reflected by the access to safe water, as about 3 out of 10 people worldwide, or more than 2 billion people currently, don't have the access to safe water at home. This is according to a new report jointly released by the World Health Organization and UNICEF this week, which presents the first global assessment of the world's drinking water and sanitation problems. The paper also suggested that some 4.5 billion people worldwide still do not have safely managed sanitation, and around half of them don't even have basic sanitation services.
All right. I also have from the dollar store $1 solar lamps, and they work really well. You put them next to these bottles of water at night. When they come on, it actually shines through the bottles of water. Okay, you want to experiment. You're going to be adding more soil to some of these pots and putting them in bigger pots as they grow bigger. Okay, you want to think about the foods that you want. You want to think about foods that when you get them out of the grocery store, like green onions, okay, celery, that you save that and root that, all right? The one thing that I like about this system is that it is not in the ground, considering what conditions we've got today. Volcanoes erupting, we've got typhoons, hurricanes, flash floods, droughts, mites, mold, funguses, hail. You don't know what you're about to endure, okay? So you have these plants in a place that you can move them. Now, what you also need to start considering is that the economy is busting. It's busting, all right? Not enough people pray, and it's the repentance it's going to take, the miracle that we need. And until that happens, this is what we need to be thinking about. You need to sell your house. You need to get an RV, so that instead of having to worry about all this stuff, you can pack up and leave if you have to and come back later. You don't lose anything, all right? You don't have to pack suitcases, you know, unless it's a go bag for a secondary emergency where you just have to move instantly, all right? But this is the way to go, all right? You need to think about the tiny houses. You need to stop thinking about buying more and more and more, and start thinking about what you can do with that trash you have, what you can do to stop making so much of it, because when disaster strikes or infrastructure shuts down, guess what? Nobody comes for your garbage. That right there is dangerous. So you've got to learn what you're going to do with your own garbage. Things like water bottles that you can save. Start start thinking about those items. And the eggshells, I put those in my plants because it deters snails and slugs, and it's also really good for the soil. You can grind the eggshells up and make a Miracle-Gro kind of thing, you know, mix it with some water, and you know, you just dry them out in the sun before you do. I am talking to some people around here in the South about what they know in terms of survival, and you know, I'm getting some pretty good responses. Particularly, you should think about asking your veterans, those people in the homes, your grandparents. Find somebody else's grandparents and ask them how they made their own soap and why you should save your stockings, all right? Things that they know are forgotten information, you know. There's a woman on the internet, God bless her heart. She has depression cooking. I think that's what she calls it, cooking for depression. You know, she's an old woman, beautiful spirit, and everybody loves to come over to her house because she cooks for them. But those are kind of meals that it took for them to survive. Things like potatoes and rice. There's a cute 10-year-old little boy that was the first one to line up to help y'all with a tip on how to survive, because, you know, apparently you're going to have to start fires once in a while. First thing is always safety first, and let me introduce you to him. We're going to not show his face because he's a minor, but you'll be able to see his spirit just shining right through.
Alright, so you can see here I got this. It's known as a fire starter. It's like some kind of silver ore and some charcoal. Whenever they meet, it starts up a spark. Now, you do this, and then you do this. It might take a while and to cause a fire, but if you do this sideways to both of them, it might start some up sparks. Or if you get empty lighters, you can do this. I don't know where my dad bought this, but if I could get this like spark up, you take the flints out, and obviously you can use that. But there's also this. It lasts longer than a lighter, and obviously I already told you just kind of scrape this part off and then scrape this on it, or you can do it sideways, start up sparks. And it might take a while, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. Now I haven't done this much, so like I just kind of like just rush through it, but I'm not really going to start up a fire. Anyway, and whenever the war starts, we could just use this, a fire starter. That's another way to survive.